Good evening. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Hackensack Board of Education meeting. Please stand as we say the pledge and have a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's remain standing for a moment of silence, please. You may be seated. As we start our meeting, let's pause to acknowledge that the Hackensack School District occupies the unceded ancestral lands of the Ramapo-Munsee Lenape people. We are grateful to be able to learn, work, and gather today, and we continue our commitment to support all underserved and undervalued members of our school community. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notification of this meeting was advertised in the record, posted at the board office, filed with the city clerk. I hereby call to order our public meeting on March 20th, 2024 in the Hackensack High School Media Center at 6:19 p.m. Ms. Singh, will you please do a roll call?
Yes. Christina Holtz.
Present.
Mr. Carroll. Demetrius Carroll.
Present. Present.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Harris.
Present.
Ms. Martin. Mr. Powell. Ms. Pringle.
Present.
Ms. Somerville.
Present.
Mr. Stein.
Present.
Ms. Cordero Alton.
Present.
Mr. James Vickery.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. So, all right, hey. So we will start with our student report.
All right. Firstly, the art department would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation for seeing the administration team at the Youth Art Month exhibition opening reception at the Johnson Public Library. The turnout was amazing. Two of our students, Daniel Porto and Karen Yunga Chimbe, were celebrated and awarded scholarships thanks to the Hackensack Rotary Club for their amazing talent and persuasions of an artistic career after graduating HHS. The academic decathlon was New Jersey large school state champions and has qualified for the nationals competition in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There will be one of two schools representing the state of New Jersey at the competition. Senior Rihanna Jane Francois had the highest scoring speech at the state championship and was the overall silver medalist for the varsity division. Junior Shruti Sangapkar was Hackensack overall highest scorer and was the overall bronze medalist for the honors division. Congratulations to all DECA athletes. To celebrate Read Across America, HHS students took a trip to Nellie K. Parker Elementary School to read to younger students. Readers chose a picture book from the Nellie K. Library. They were assigned a buddy and traveled to classrooms to read and engage with the younger students. HHS students had a great day serving as reading role models for the younger kids in our district. For the second time this year, the Interactive Club members joined together to make over 150 sandwiches that were donated to New Jersey's Food and clothes rescue. The Interactive Club is a community-based service club that gives back by making and donating sandwiches to feed the hungry, stuffing bags for Operation Smile, cleaning up for Hackensack, letter writing to hospitalized children and veterans, and making financial donations to worthy causes such as Wise Animal Rescue, which deal with fosters and arranging adoptions, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which advances cures and treats pediatric catastrophic diseases at no charge, Mary's Meals, which serves nutritious school meals to children living in some of... Oh, sorry. Which part do you want me to go back to? Oh, okay. Mary's Meals, which serves as nutritious school meals to children living in some of the world's poorest communities. Rachel's Coalition supports domestic violence victims. And as I said before, I'm a cheerleader at HHS competitive team. And on March 3rd, we went to Hershey Park for nationals and we won first place. And we also won the best dance out of the whole competition, and we won the highest point in the competition.
Awesome, thanks. Good job. All right, so now we have another very special person to recognize. I'm going to ask Mr. Moran to hop up first.
Thanks, Natasha.
I'm going to ask Mr. Jesus, please, to come forward. Mr. Pemberton, if you don't mind joining us over here as the Director of Special Services for this special honoree this evening. First off, I want to thank, first, let me introduce myself. I'm Christopher Moran, proud principal of Jackson Avenue School. I want to thank President James Vickery, Vice President Ms. Cordero Outen, and the rest of the Board of Trustees, Dr. McBride, Mrs. Parchment, and Mrs. Marks for their honor to represent one of our staff members this evening, Ms. Diana De Jesus, our Child Study Team social worker. I just wanted to give you a little context of how it started for Ms. De Jesus. She started her career in Hackensack working as a substitute teacher in 2007. She held that position, was hired as a para by Mrs. Whitaker. And in 2010, Ms. De Jesus was then a para for the next 5 years, supporting our special education students at Nellie K. Parker School. It was during these formidable times that she wanted to pursue a career in social work. Ms. De Jesus graduated from Rutgers University in 2014 with a master's degree in social work. From there, Ms. De Jesus was hired by Dr. Whiting, formerly Mrs. Whiting, in 2015 as a child study team social worker at Hillard School. This timeline speaks to her dedication and commitment to her pursuit to help children and families. Mrs. De Jesus was then shared with Jackson Avenue School under leadership of Mrs. Parchment and Ms. Moncloa. So I just want to recap. Mrs. Whitaker, Dr. Whiting, Mrs. Parchment, and Ms. Moncloa, folks that I consider Hackensack royalty. For the past 5 years, Jackson Avenue has been Ms. De Jesus' home school, and she has a large number of her students that she affectionately calls her babies. When asked to describe Ms. De Jesus, a staff member shared these sentiments. Jackson Avenue family is so proud to have Ms. De Jesus as our child study team social worker. Her professionalism showcases her true commitment, which is to the children of Hackensack, as she calls them, my babies. She is a secret powerhouse, as I like to call it. She is constantly learning new strategies to better her craft. In addition, she goes above and beyond the call of duty. I have personally witnessed Ms. De Jesus meet with parents after school, before school, during her lunch. She will avail herself not only to parents, but for teachers as well. She makes calls to parents after hours, always willing to speak to teachers. Her love for children is evident in everything she does. She works behind the scenes on multiple committees and supports teachers and children constantly. She is never looking for recognition or accolades, but rather her greatest reward is to see the children smiling and learning in school. This morning, when I called a family member of a student to speak of her experiences with Mr. Jesus, she shared the following. Mr. Jesus has been an amazing person and an amazing social worker. She is family to me and our family as well. Anyone who is fortunate enough to have her work with their child, you will be forever grateful like we are. My granddaughter has been with Mr. Jesus since kindergarten and has helped her transition throughout the special education program at Jackson Avenue School. My granddaughter is going to be graduating Jackson Avenue School, and it wouldn't have been possible, I told you I wouldn't, without the love and support of Mr. Jesus. She is extremely dedicated to her job, and of course, my baby and all of her babies. So congratulations, Mr. Jesus. You are so deserving of this award. I would now like to ask Mr. Pemberton to say a few words about his team member, Mr. Jesus.
Thank you. Just take it off. Good evening. Just like to echo the sentiments of Mr. Moran, Mr. Jesus has been a fabulous and collaborative team member since the day I started here. She does affectionately call all of the students her babies, and she treats them as such. She's always caring and supportive, and we just want to thank you for your service.
So Hackensack Public Schools. Hackensack Public Schools. Hackensack Public Schools SOAR Award presented to Diana DeJesus. Comet SOAR Award presented by Superintendent McBride and the Hackensack Board of Education in recognition of going above and beyond in support of students and the school community. There you go. And I want to say, as one of my favorite memories, I don't know where to look here. One of my favorite memories is when I was touring your school, and I was still at that point calling my classroom every Friday because I was still having a hard time not being in my classroom. I taught severe profound special education, and the moment you said your babies, because that's what I always called my kids, and I knew then that that's exactly why I do the work I do for this district, because of people like you. And that moment made me forever grateful to be serving this district with you. So thank you. You don't have to. All right, now to you, good sir, our superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. In honor of Women's Month, which we are currently still in, I'm reminded of one of my favorite authors, Ms. Zora Neale Hurston, who was a phenomenal writer during the Harlem Renaissance. And the quote says, "Jump at the sun. You may not land on the sun, but at least you'll be off the ground." And that idea of always reaching for possibility, the idea of movement, elevation, are one of the driving forces that have always kind of influenced and inspired my life. And so as we celebrate our phenomenal women, I want us to take notice of just how amazing women are and have been throughout history and today. They are the greatest superpower in this world. When I think about my mother and my grandmothers and all the women who have stood in the gap, who have loved on me, who have prayed for me, who've inspired for me, and who take care of us selflessly all the time, we must always honor them. My dad always said, don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Take care of your mama. And so that mentality has always been with me. So ensure that we are celebrating women today and every day for the phenomenal things they do for us. So I wanted to start there. This month has been a continuation of my listening and learning tour. As I said previously, I had the opportunity to meet with students, students, teachers, school leaders, and now I've had the opportunity to meet with two of our school parents associations, specifically Parker as well as Fairmount. And so I'm grateful for all the parents who have come out to share all the amazing experiences that they've had at the school, to provide their insight and their feedback as to how we can consistently improve our schools, but then also share their commitment to working collaboratively with us to provide their scholars, our scholars, with the best experience in learning here. So I'm looking forward to concluding the other ones as I round up my 90 days now. So that has been an amazing opportunity to kind of be face to face with people, specifically our parents whose voices really matter in this work that we're doing, as well as our kids. So it's shaping a lot of the thinking around the planning moving forward in every area. So again, thank you to the parents. I want to celebrate our amazing scholars who are showcasing their talents and their gifts in a variety of ways. We oftentimes think about tests and academics, but we have students who are individuals who are engaging in music and dance and theater, and we are providing them with the opportunities to do just that, to lift that up. So I was inspired to see the amazing art at the library that our scholars just talked about as well. And last night, we got to see a wonderful production of Moana that's happening also tonight in our district. And it just goes to show, again, the amazing talents and gifts that are here that we are consistently making sure that we are cultivating every day. So a shout out to all of our scholars who are performing, because we know it's not easy to get up in front of people, but because they have those gifts, we are letting those things shine. Lastly, we want to also just identify that we have heard the feedback from our teachers around our reading program. And so last month, we conducted our very first comprehensive literacy planning group. So we have teachers from every grade band, we have supervisors, we have the team coming together with an expert to think through how we're going to ensure that our scholars will have access to a high quality reading program, but also a reading curriculum that encompasses the components of what a quality reading involves: phonics, fluency, reading comprehension. And the great thing about it is that we are building it together. Literally, the people in the room, the teachers who are on the ground every single day, giving their input, giving their feedback, and then helping us think through what it will look like in the future has been amazing as well. So we just had our first session. We have two more coming in April and in May, and we are excited to be able to present the district's comprehensive literacy plan to everyone, hopefully before June, before we leave for the break, so that over the summer we'll know exactly where we're going. So I am grateful to all of the teachers who are providing their intellectual knowledge. Our consultant, Dr. Dia Bryant, who's renowned in the world of early childhood reading, as well as our administrators who will be joining us in May as well to make sure it's a full rounded perspective of everyone's commitment to developing a high quality reading curriculum for this district. So that's a few of the highlights that have happened. And now I'll transition into the actual report. Currently, we have 5,275 students enrolled, and our attendance percentage is 96.4%. As it relates to our residency report, in February 2024, we had 5 number of resident cases received, 32 to date. We verified 2 of those in February, 15 to date. In-home visits unverified is 3, and a year to date is 17. Lastly, our harassment, intimidation, and bullying report. We had 3 that fit the HIB definition. We had 3 that were inconclusive. We had 1 there was no evidence of HIB. We had 8 that do not fit HIB definition, and a total of 15 altogether from the month of February 17, 2024 until our current March 14, 2024 as well. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. We will now move into our public comment portion. The board not only welcomes your comments, we want to hear them. I ask that all participants sign in, and it's your turn. Please, microphone first. We not only welcome your comments, but we want to hear them. All participants must sign in. When it is your turn, please state your name, municipality, and any group that you might be affiliated with that's important for us to know. Each person has a limit of 3 minutes. To be good stewards of everyone's time, please adhere to that. Please direct all comments to me as the presiding officer, and any responses that are appropriate to be given will happen at the end of the public comment portion. So we are ready.
You got it easy tonight. Frank Albolino, Hackensack, New Jersey. Most of you know I'm a member of Hackensack Unico, an Italian-American club that supports the Italian program here up at Hackensack High School and in the middle school. I'm here tonight again to ask you to reinstate Christopher Columbus to the calendar. Not to take off Indigenous people, just to add Christopher Columbus like the county does, and like the president said when he became president, or at the beginning of the year. I forgot last month to talk about the Dominican community, the Puerto Rican community, and the Cuban community, all that had representatives on this Board of Education at one time or another, 2 of which have businesses in town. They're all involved in towns in different way, through sports, through getting people to register to vote. I'm going to read you a statement here. Little League Baseball of Hackensack, 10 years plus, chairman in 1990, Cub Scout Pack number 5, Holy Trinity, 3 years treasurer. That's because I missed the meeting and my wife nominated me. Hackensack Recreation Committee, 2 years, project graduation class of 92, 95. At one time or another, I was a PTA member of all the schools in the district, including ECDC, and I used to attend some of the meetings down at Jackson Avenue. I'm a member of Captain Harry B. Doremus, American Post 55, Hackensack, New Jersey. I'm currently vice commander. And like I said, I'm a member of Hackensack Unico. I have 2 questions for the board president. Question number 1, I would like for you to poll the board members that are here tonight and see how they feel about restoring Christopher Columbus Day back to the calendar for the 2024-2025 school year. And number 2, can someone please tell me what the Indigenous people have done for Hackensack? Should I repeat that one?
Nope. Lydia, do you have a pen? No. All right.
My time's running out.
Oh, I'm not going to.
You're going to answer afterwards? I'm the only public here speaking tonight. You're
Well,
on the list.
I'm not going to poll the board.
Why not? It's been done before. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm sorry. I forgot the most important thing. I was elected 8 consecutive years to the Hackensack Board of Education for a total of 24 years. I was vice president 6 times and president 6 times. We were polled, we answered. I'm the community. You're elected officials. You're supposed to answer me. I may not like your answer, but I'm asking for an answer.
Sir, this is a time for public comment. It's not a time for public Q&A. So you make your comments, the board takes them into consideration, and they decide how they're going to respond, but it's not a Q&A.
Are they going to respond tonight?
It's not their, they do not have to, no.
I tell you
It's
right
public
now,
comment.
Mr. Attorney, I disagree with you. Like I said, I was on for 24 years, and it was always a give and go. Okay, not every meeting, but we got polled from time to time, and I'm sure Mr. Stein remembers that. I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for an opinion, just a yes or no for Columbus Day, and for someone to tell me what the indigenous people have done for Hackensack. I told you what I've done.
Sir, your 3 minutes are up.
I know. Okay, I'm not here to cause a problem, but I'm very disappointed that I'm not getting an answer, because I was told I would get an answer from the board president.
Good evening. Oh, the pen's not. Donna West, Hackensack resident and Hackensack employee. A couple of things, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get through everything. I do want to thank the high school students for coming to read. They learned firsthand what it's like to read to second graders, and they were trying to be kind to him. So I was appreciative of my little babies doing that. She's not the only one who calls them babies. Congrats to our Hackensack High School cheerleaders as well. I just want to remind us, as the school year begins to wind down, that we often talk about prioritizing children. I believe one of the assistant superintendents says we privilege children. And we've been looking at the data, right? Because for the 2.5 to 3 and 90 days that Dr. McBride has been here, there's been an increased attention to data, which is not in itself a bad thing. The problem is now that it's a new buzzword. So everything is data. Everything is data. Everything is data. So now we have PDs that take us away from the class, but we also need to be in the class doing something with the data that we just uncovered. So it's becoming a bit much. Not complaining, because we want to do our job. But I'm just trying to figure out, how did we become robots all of a sudden, and you think that we can do all of this and not take anything off our plate? I had this conversation, I think last year around this time as well. Everything just keeps getting added. So let me also point out, we have special ed classes, we have bilingual classes, we have gen ed classes, correct? All right, so we're having a problem because we have a special ed class that has 3 students who don't speak English. So we don't have a bilingual class for our special needs students in that sense. And then I just want to give you an idea of what an elementary school teacher's day looks like. Lunch count, breakfast count, attendance. I am going to go fast, sir, I'm sorry. Attendance, teach, lesson plans, which include math, readers workshop, science, social studies, writing, foundations, guided reading, the new thing, tiered intervention, SEL, teach tiered intervention groups, which are supposed to be flexible and change every day, exit tickets, making copies, parent communication, INRST recommendations, INRST reports, data for INRST recommendations, CST meetings, IRNST meetings, PLC meetings, running records, Readers Workshop pre and post assessments, grading these Readers Workshops pre and post assessments, grading and recording foundations assessments, report cards, progress reports, emailing, calling parents when student is absent, and the list goes on. Again, not standing here to complain, just trying to figure out where you think it is humanly possible to do all of this and not feel exhausted or unappreciated. And on another note, there's a solar eclipse on April 8th, just wondering what the district's going to do about it, because other districts have either called for a whole half day, or some states are closing because of the impact that the students, I believe, will be leaving around that time. So just be mindful of the fact that this solar eclipse is coming, and it's a big thing.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. To start, I would just refer anyone else who has questions about the Indigenous impact on Hackensack to the land acknowledgement at the board office. Aside from that, my name is Tony Jackson. I live in Hackensack. I'm a Hackensack parent. I'm also a Hackensack teacher. The first thing I wanted to bring up is something I've brought up before. And because there are new board members and new superintendent, I wanted to mention again, there is a page that ridicules, insults, and harasses Hackensack community members, especially teachers. It's called the HEA Muppets page on Facebook. They have posted my daughter's name and accused me of abusive behavior because I mentioned supporting her speaking at a Board of Education meeting. They posted altered pictures of myself and several other staff members. I appreciate Board President Vickery who called them out. They then later that night posted a picture poking fun at him. After a student was stabbed at Hackensack High School, they posted an altered picture of Elmo threateningly holding a knife. Please do something about this. Please try and find out who's behind it based on the information and access to the page, access to the information that they have, who is referenced, who is being harassed. It is someone within the district. On another note, I've been teaching in Hackensack for 18 years. I love this community, the kids, their families. I feel like the current focus on control and compliance is draining much of the joy and satisfaction from our current roles. I'm hopeful hearing about the collaboration between teachers and central office concerning the literacy program. But as a teacher, I do feel that my voice and opinion, though called on at times, are not valued in most aspects of how the district operates. And I use mine more than most here. I feel that many mandates and initiatives and programs are passed down to us that we accept and implement and adapt to, often with little preparation, often with little rationale or evidence of efficacy that is given to us. Some things seem counterproductive. I print out 14-page lesson plans every week. If everybody else is doing that, that is a ton of paper that is being wasted for plans that are already in Genesis and can be seen. It's not sustainable. Mind you, I'm also on the Sustainable Schools team. Some things seem to be tamping down on our ability to make decisions. A teacher commented to me that they had been told that autonomy has to be earned. It is not given to teachers. I think that that is an insane statement considering that we are being trusted with the students in our care. If we are here, then we deserve respect and trust. I, along with every other teacher that has spoken out on the topic, along with every other teacher I've spoken to, are receiving our lowest evaluation scores this year, and I'm the best teacher that I've ever been. I know that because I'm constantly learning, growing from my own education and also from my experience in the classroom. How are we supposed to be having our students show autonomy in the classroom, which is one of the hallmarks for a 4, right, for the highest level of evaluation, if we are not trusted with it ourselves? I end by saying that many of my colleagues are uncomfortable speaking up about the issues because they fear retaliation. As a union, I believe that what happens to one of us can happen to any of us, so what happens to one of us does happen to all of us. All of us deserve trust, respect, and transparency, and we hope. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. Good to be able to be here. Just to have a few concerns that I just want to share again tonight. Just looking at an overall perspective.
Please say your name for the record, please.
I'm sorry. My name is Gwenny Burt. I am a Hackensack resident, teacher in Hackensack, and an alumni of Hackensack Public Schools. So some concerns just in looking at decision making over the last few years or so, and watching the change in the decision making process. We're always being told that our kids are first or they come first, and so I kind of wonder sometimes how that happens if you don't allow the people in the classroom teaching those kids to come first. and you don't put us in a position where we're able to be properly prepared for what we are doing. It's wonderful to have curriculums and all that stuff. We have a new math curriculum, for example, and we haven't gotten a lot of training on it. We've gotten some, but not enough. We're always given something and expected to hit the ground running, and it doesn't properly prepare us to be able to equip our kids. The other concern is that, it's great to look at data. A whole lot of us have been looking at data. But just because there are other sources of being able to get data doesn't mean we have to do all of them. And so we bought a curriculum supposedly that met our needs. And so why aren't we using all of that curriculum? We've added number worlds and some other things. And so it just makes me wonder, like, what is the expectation? How are you expecting us to be able to really do all of that and do it well so that our kids are excelling if we're not getting the proper training that we need? It's just like you don't buy everything you see in the store just because they sell it. And so it's just something that's a little bit confusing to me. Wonderful to see that we have translators for our deaf awareness community, but what about those who are Hispanic speaking and don't understand what's going on in the meeting? We've been talking about that for a while now, and they don't seem to be being addressed. When I look at some of the buzzwords and things that are happening around us, recently there was some buzz about a new position that is coming. We saw a posting for principal at the middle school. I didn't recall seeing that approved by the board. And so the hope and the expectation was that it wasn't a verbal approval when no one else would be able to give a verbal approval. That wouldn't be accepted. So I hope that's not a practice that's being put into place where we're not going to do that moving forward. The other thing is, last but not least, is just our meetings on Wednesday night. They was changed. People didn't know. I get it. It was discussed at a meeting, but the community wasn't really aware of what was happening. And so it makes it very difficult for a lot of people to get here. 6:30 was a difficult time before. That's why open sessions were done then. And so it just makes it very difficult to see where the community is really being considered a part of this. There are a lot of people I've spoken to who don't feel like it and who are frustrated because now they can't get here on Wednesday night. And so I just pray that you invite everybody, all of the stakeholders, to the table when you make your decisions. Thank you.
Is there anybody online? All right. What, Chris? No. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Tom Terzano. I teach at the Hackensack High School, and I am an HEA Health and Safety Chair. And so I'm hoping you hear me. I don't see the timer running. Oh, there it goes. Good. Okay. So Health and Safety Chair at the for the HEA. I teach at the high school. Again, my name is Tom Terzano, and some of the concerns that my colleagues brought forward are actively part of what we all are experiencing on a daily basis. There are certain things that we can plan for. Sometimes they're astronomical, happenings, sort of like the solar eclipse that was mentioned by Ms. West, which is definitely something we can plan for. I mean, the universe has had that on the calendar for just about ever. And then there are other things that we can also plan for. We can plan to ameliorate the stress that's put on students and put on staff in a number of ways. The idea of the data collection that's been mentioned before is a little bit abstract. I think it has directly to do with the amount of time that we put into teaching our students versus time that we lost in the last couple of weeks of the high school. For example, we've had schedules adjusted for 4 days last week and 2 days this week. In just about every single class. And the worst case scenario, I've been able to teach my one class 4 days out of potential 10. If we want to figure out where the learning loss is there, I think it's kind of obvious in the numbers. The percentages are just ridiculously low in terms of time offered versus time applied to teaching. Instead, we're doing a lot of data collection. We're giving assessments. Some are state mandated, some are internal, some are district related. Other things that impact our ability to function is proper staffing. If you've been listening, there's been concerns about having appropriate numbers of staff to be able to serve needs of our community whether they be special education students or they bilingual students or the ones that I've heard tonight. And it's important to, really push forward a hiring effort to put staff, certificated staff in those positions so that way those students are best served. It'll also end up alleviating some of the pressure that is put on a regular education teacher to try to wear so many hats at the same time with very, very large class sizes, which ends up being somewhat problematic. It's something that I think many of us end up facing as teachers in our district. And then the last point, I think, although I haven't heard, and I looked at the agenda, I didn't see it, was that we need to have certificated healthcare providers on premises at each of the schools. Sometimes we have too few, or they're in situations where they need to cover different buildings for various reasons. We have to step up our efforts to make sure that there's certified school nurses in our buildings at an appropriate number. We did better during the pandemic, but that has since kind of fallen to the wayside. Thank you.
That's it. All right. Thank you. That's the end of our public comments. So I will quickly address some of those. So I will ask the board's comfortability of addressing the Columbus Day poll. Is that something you would like to do publicly now, or would you like to deal with that at another time?
Let's do it publicly now.
Anyone else want to weigh in on that? So that's not a consensus, so we will move on. I will tell you, but what I will weigh in on that is we have dealt with this situation in the past and are.
He's asking. Oh, yeah. No, I agree to do it publicly.
It's gonna take 5 of you. One once, one twice. Sold, okay. Our school community has weighed in on this. And the tension that I find in this is that our school community resoundingly does not want Columbus Day on the calendar. So I think what we have to remember is who we serve is students first. And it's not just our students that I'm referring to, those of you who were not on the board at the time, we had a forum to discuss this very thing because it came up in a very big way. And our students not only called in who were possibly the most eloquent of all of the speakers that evening, our teachers also called in and spoke very eloquently about the topic. But me and Mr. Sanchez at the time kept a very accurate tally of who was calling in and how they fit into our school community. And overwhelmingly, the people that were directly related to our school community do not want Christopher Columbus on the calendar. So we can keep coming back to this, or we can keep moving the district forward in the work that we need to keep working on. If you look at the beautiful, I think it's more than a plaque, it's a piece of art that's in front of the board office. What it is a reminder of, and what I read each week is a reminder that it's not only about Indigenous people, it is a reminder that we are here to serve all people who are underserved in our school community, and that's why we sit on this board. Ms. Burt, the Spanish translation is happening right back there. So we got it at the same time all this happened, it happened. Mr. Jackson, I don't know if he's still here, the HEA Muppets page, that is still an ongoing thing that we are trying to figure out. It is absolutely disgusting. And let me just be clear, yes, last time I addressed this, they put me right up on it, and it did not impact me then, and it will not impact me again. Whatever. But we will continue to find out until we figure it out. And the question of what have Indigenous people done for Hackensack, I will offer they have given us this space. And I would offer they haven't given it to us, we have taken it. So I'll leave it there.
Mr. President.
This is not the time.
You asked for us to, and I offered to have the board.
You're out of order, sir. Not now. Now,
Point of order, sir. You asked the question, does anybody want to offer Christopher Columbus? I indicated yes. Mr. Martin seconded that. Therefore, it is not out of order to poll the board.
okay, so that was, the question was to get a consensus for a poll, not a vote. It wasn't a motion.
All right.
So we have to have 5 to get a consensus, and so we didn't move forward because there was not a consensus.
I beg to differ, but you run the meeting.
Thank you. So we will move into our executive session. Be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education determines it necessary to meet in executive session on Wednesday, March 20th, 2024 to discuss legal, personnel, student-related matters, HIB reports, negotiations, and other confidential matters. And be it further resolved that these matters will be made public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Can I have a motion to move into executive session? Mr. Powell, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Darrell Outen, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And there are none. It is 7:04. We will do our best to return in 1 hour. Welcome back. Ms. Singh, will you go ahead and do a roll call? We do know that two are coming in just a moment. Mm-mm.
No?
Yep,
Okay, Ms. Harris?
she's here.
All right, I'll put, yeah, Mr. Martin?
Yeah.
Mr. Powell?
We got him.
Ms. Pringle, she's here, right?
Yes.
Ms. Somerville?
Here.
Mr. Stein?
Here.
Ms. Cordero Alton?
Present.
Mr. James Vickery?
Present, thank you.
We have a quorum.
All right, we're going to approve our minutes. Be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education approves the regular meeting minutes and closed session minutes of February 21st, 2014, and the board retreat minutes of March 1st, 2024, and special meeting minutes of March 12th, 2024 as submitted. So there are 3 dates there, so some of you may have missed one of those dates perhaps. So as we're approving those minutes, although you should have had the chance to read them, so as we go, we'll do a roll call. If you need to abstain from one of those, feel free to do that.
Somebody has to offer the motion.
Oh, may I? Thank you. I'm tired now. Thank you, Mr. Powell. Mr. Stein, second. Now a roll call.
Okay, so for the February 21st, the regular and closed session.
Here, why don't, for this one, you let me do the roll call?
Yes, yes.
And I will let you record. So we will go to Mr. Carroll. We're doing a roll call on the approving the minutes. There are 3 dates listed, February 21st, March 1st, and March 12th.
And you're broken from the fire escape wearing gloves.
Yes.
Teach your old man a lesson.
First, so abstain him from that.
Rip your clothes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and knock him off. Scared what could come out. Miss
Instructor Klein. I abstained from February 21st because I was not here. And yes to March 1st. Right?
So,
So what are we doing? The
February
20
21st, which is the regular board meeting.
I wasn't here.
Okay, and then move to March 1st, which was the board retreat.
I was there.
So yes,
Yep.
you're saying yes, I don't want to answer
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
And March 12th,
And that was
special
also-
meeting, the budget hearing.
Correct, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Powell?
Miss March 12th.
Okay, so yes to the others? Yes to all but March 12th.
March 12th,
He's abstaining.
from, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Ms. Pringle?
Yes to everything else, not March 1st. I was not at the retreat.
Thank you so much. Ms. Somerville?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Stein? Did I miss Mr. Martin? Oh, I sure did. Mr. Martin, I apologize.
Yes to everything?
Yes to all, thank you. Mr. Stein now.
Yes to everything.
Were you at the, yeah, you were.
I was at
Look
the
at you,
retreat.
okay, yes, I'm sorry. Ms. Cordero Alton?
Yes.
Okay, and yes for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, now we will move to our personnel. Ms. Cordero Alton?
Yeah, so be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following personnel actions, which would be A1, A through O.
All right, thank you so much. We have a motion from Ms. Cordero Alton. Can I have a second? Mr. Powell, a second, thank you. We'll do a roll call. You want to just do the roll call? Will that make it easier for you?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on, continuing on with policy, Ms. Cordero Alton?
Yeah, so policy, I really quickly, I just want to express that there are 18 total policy plus regulations that had updates made to them. They were either mandated by the state or a best practice as recommended by the attorneys and the state. So along with Rosemary Marks, who I would like to give a huge appreciation for the work that you do and responding to all my emails and my questions, along with seeking out assistance from Ms. Moncloa or perhaps other directors with regards to these policies. I know that was a heavy lift. So be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approves the first reading of policies as shown. So again, a total of 18 policy and regulations.
All right, thank you. We have a motion from Ms. Cordero Alton. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Ms. Pringle,
Roll call.
roll call, thank you.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Harris,
All my life you have taught me that.
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to curriculum. Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, C1 through C18, highlighting C6, C8, C9, C10, and C12. C6, on March 6th, our high school academic decathlon team was recognized as a New Jersey State Champions of League School Division. The team will now travel to Pittsburgh for the national championship. C8, the workshop of parents of high school students will be held this school year to inform parents about what it means to parents in the digital age. It will also bring awareness to the parents about social media. C9, we will accept tonight nearly $4.3 million of preschool education aid from the state. C10, there will be a special performance for our multilingual learners at Parker School and Jackson Elementary School entitled Our Journey Through Latin Percussion. C12, the Glazer Clinics and the U.S. Marines will work with the junior and seniors this year at the high school, Hackensack High School physical education classes for the day. That's all I have.
All right, we had a motion. All right, we had a motion for Mr. Martin. Can I get a second, please? Mr. Powell, thank you. Can we do a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to finance. Mr. Carroll? Okay. Sure.
So we can bring forward for the finance committee, chaired by, for the finance committee chaired by Mr. Carroll, we bring forward D1 through D5 for a motion for approval. There is nothing outside the normal scope of business for the finance committee.
All right. Ms. Somerville brought forward a motion for finance. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Stein, thank you. Roll call, please.
Yeah, Mr. Carroll? Is he there? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving forward to buildings and grounds. Mr. Stein, do you mind taking that for us
Not at all.
tonight?
I don't mind.
Thank you.
This is to approve E1 through E3.
All right, thank you. We have a motion moving forward from Mr.
Second.
Stein, thank you. A second from Ms. Somerville. A roll call, please.
Yeah, Mr. Carroll? Mr. Carroll?
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Ms. Pringle?
Yes.
Ms. Somerville?
Yes.
Mr. Stein?
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton?
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery? Yes. Motion passes.
Ms. Harris, I know with moving up, it shifted, but if you'll just announce the date and.
Definitely, yeah.
Thanks.
So unfortunately, like what President James Vickery said, our Community Relations Committee meeting was supposed to happen prior to our public board meeting. Because of the date, it will happen tomorrow. So for our next board meeting, I will have a report. Very excited to meet with the community tomorrow.
Great, thank you so much. So now we'll move forward to old business. Does anybody have any old business they need to bring before the board? Seeing none, we will move to new business to bring before the board.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mr. Martin?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we have a second public comment meeting, second public comment for our public.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, do we need to have it fleshed out more? Or is that
There can be a discussion.
Okay, so now that we have a second, we will open that up for discussion. Anybody have any discussion around that?
Yes. I could see having the first public forum on, or discussion on policies that we've talked about, and then, or maybe on general subjects relating to the schools, and the second portion to be dedicated to items from personnel on. So you'd have 3 minutes at the time of public discussion before we go into executive session. That's how I'm looking at this. And then 3 minutes at the end of the public or at the end of the portion where we do committee reports. And that people in that second session can only talk about items in the committee reports. That's my view on this.
Okay, and yours is 3 minutes and 3 minutes?
3 minutes and 3 minutes.
Okay, any other discussion around that?
If I may make a legal point on this, you have a board policy, bylaw and policy 0167, public participation in board meetings. So you already have an existing policy and bylaw. But my suggestion would be, since you have a policy committee, that it go back to a policy committee to be discussed in committee and then come back to the board. Because you would have to be actually
Make a
amending
recommendation.
your policy.
Are you in favor? You made the motion.
Yeah, I mean, so we have a motion before us, so
You can withdraw.
you have to withdraw the motion or push forward.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Stein. Can you just repeat what was the purpose of the second?
The second would be discussion on committee reports. I don't know what the public may, strictly on what's on the docket for committee reports.
So do
Personnel,
you mean
finance, whatever.
So what would prevent them from talking about that at the first public meeting? Because they have the agenda at the same time we have the
Well,
agenda.
the first part of the meeting would be on general subjects as it relates to the schools. And this is Mr. Martin's motion. I
No,
don't
no, no,
want
no, no.
to overstep.
I'm honestly trying.
That's how I vision
I'm
this.
I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm honestly trying to understand. The agenda in its entirety is outside, it's published, so whatever is on here, they can take the first 3 minutes that they have to have that same conversation around it, right? So is there something else that is going to come up after we close the first public session that we need to go back to a second public session for? I'm honestly trying to understand, so.
Again, how I vision this is that the first session, let's say before we go into executive session, would be discussion on why don't we separate classrooms at Nellie K. Parker School? That's a general subject. It could be that, it could be, why don't we expand the parking lot at Fairmount School? That's a general subject. The second, which would be 3 minutes. The second portion would be on if somebody had a question on the committee reports, which is what we discussed, which comes up in the discussion after our executive session.
So can the logistics of it be discussed in the committees, in the policy committee? Like, can we agree to have a second public comment, but flesh out exactly how that's going to look like in the policy committee?
That makes sense.
Did you hear the question?
I was just gonna, just another point, you also have district policy bylaw 0164, conduct of board meetings, which provides for one public comment section. So that's in addition, so you have bylaw 0167 on public participation and 0164. So you have two policies that are involved in your current policy, says one. So you have to amend the policy committee. Just want to make that clear.
And
Right,
just in-
because prior to that, we had to, and then
Okay,
it was
and that's where I'm
taken
going, so
to one.
I'm sorry.
Does it say when?
Hold on.
Can I
Okay,
change?
wait, I need one at a time, please, so
Sorry,
that we can.
I just wanted to ask, Mr. Evelyn, does it say when it was changed to one?
This was, it's always had one since 2019 on here.
2019 is not that one.
Okay,
Well,
so
the-
to close the loop, President Scott Jim Vickery and ex-President Mr. Powell, can you guys tell us why you moved it during your tenure from 2 to 1, either one of you? Because it was in 2019 when you were VP and you were president of the board that the structure changed, right? Or am I mistaken?
During my time,
Yeah, wasn't it during your time
It
it
was
was
one
moved
public
from 2 to 1?
it was one public comment during my time.
But it says
So it was it the board
No, we
before you
had
guys?
two.
then?
You had
So
two?
the board might have done that without actually amending any policy or bylaw. I don't know, that is also before my time, so.
No, because you said 2019, so I thought you were.
There was a
board
time
thing
that
in
there was two
20
public
Yeah,
comments.
you were board president in 2019.
There was a
right?
There
time.
was a time.
There was a time, but I could move the motion to just make the, clear up the logistics and policy. Let the policy committee clear it
Refer
up.
to policy.
It doesn't matter who move what, just, I'll make the motion that the public comment should be moved to policy to change it to 2,
So,
to the policy committee.
so are you withdrawing your motion?
To change it to have the policy, have the public comment move into policy to work out the logistics.
Don't we have to?
Okay, okay,
Can
so
I-
you're just you're referring the suggestion to the
The
policy
suggestion to the
committee, but
policy
that doesn't mean anything's passing tonight.
You don't need a formal motion for that.
Right.
So then you have to withdraw your motion just in general, and then it's just off the table, and then it can be referred to policy committee, but then it has to be brought back forward to.
Correct.
From the policy committee.
Correct.
Can we pause for a second? So my understanding is what they're trying to get is a
Second,
agreement for the board to say, we want a second comment
Comment.
section for
That's
the
correct.
community,
but
right?
according to the attorney.
So I guess explain to me the flow. Why would the first thing be go to the policy committee? Don't we need to get the vote to say that's what the board wants? And then you kick it to policy to create the policy, right?
That's basically what
Yeah.
I was trying to say,
Yeah.
but they say that because it
So
need
we
to be
need to,
changed.
so we need,
So what we need is the consensus is, do we even want it referred there?
Correct.
If the majority does not want it there, or if the majority does want it to change.
correct.
Okay.
Is
So-
that what it is,
Yeah,
Mr.
the
Evelyn?
You can do it that way, yeah.
All right, then-
Yeah, that's what the suggestion is.
Well, that was where we were at the
You're
beginning.
free to do it that way.
Okay,
Because-
no, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that,
really, really.
Well, because the
This
thought
is-
process behind that is why would we update policy that states
Yeah, I get
one if we're not even gonna entertain the idea? So we get that vote out first, and then you'll motion to then have it go
Well,
to
that's-
policy.
That's why I brought
Yep,
it up that
to be
way.
amended, correct.
That's why I brought it up that way. But he said, no, you gotta change the
so-
policy.
Then the motion that we need or would need to be made is making an official motion to have it referred to, having two public comments referred to the policy committee is what the motion would need to be, if that is what you would like the board to entertain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the motion before us, so you've officially withdrawn the first one.
Right, and then,
Okay, got it. We're on track. I'm tracking. Okay, so we have officially withdrawn the first motion by Mr. Martin. We are now entertaining if we would like to refer having two public comment sections to the policy committee. Is everybody with us?
Yes. I am.
I feel like they're not all.
Yeah, we are. I
I
am.
don't feel like they are.
Uh,
Are we with us?
Yes, yeah.
So, no worries. So the vote is currently, if we're making a motion to refer the
policy
to have
committee.
two sections of public comment to the policy committee is what we're doing. So may I have I need a motion to do that. We have a motion, so may I have a second to do that?
I'll second.
Can you go back? Who motioned first?
Mr.
Martin.
Martin made a motion to do that, to refer it. Now we need a second.
I'll second.
Ms. Harris made a second. Now, is there discussion on that?
I hope not.
I think we've discussed it, but I have to do that.
Keep going.
So now.
Yeah.
So a roll call.
Mr. Carroll?
no.
Okay, Mr. Carroll is a no. Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
No.
Ms. Pringle?
No.
Ms. Somerville?
No.
Mr. Stein?
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton?
No.
Mr. James Vickery?
No.
Okay, so the motion fails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 noes, 6 noes.
All right, now, any other new business? All right, thank you. We will move on to board comments. Let's see, good people. Mr. Powell, I always have to, you go first because you always have to leave for work, but I'm sure that's too late now, but go ahead, Mr. Powell.
No work tonight. Okay, quick, just want to give a quick shout out to the art exhibition, the Rotary Club, thank you for the scholarships. We were offered award to the DCAP athletes, and to all the people that are serving as role models, and to all that were involved in the donation of sandwiches, over 150. Sure they're needed, especially in times like this. Cheerleaders, they were first place. I think they were at Hershey's, if I wrote my notes correctly. Hershey's, yeah. And I just want a big shout out to those kids. I know it means a lot to them, to our community, to all of us. I know you put a lot of hard work into it and dedication, and you came out on top. So we're so proud of you all. The story, thank you for the candies.
Candy.
Yeah, my co-workers really enjoy your candies. Okay, thank you. I just want to say, the student report, Natasha Castillo, it was very comprehensive report. That's where I leave. Excellent. And the SOAR Award, Mrs. Diana, correct? Yes. And thank everyone that was involved in it. I listened. She's awesome. And that's what we need here in Hackensack. Awesome, 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 awesome. And I really appreciate her expertise and what she brings to us, and all the other teachers, of course. And she's a child study team worker, and she's very good at what she does. And we're very proud and grateful to have you serving in our district. And thank you all for coming out. As always, thank everyone who participated. And I will close, but I always remember to thank our superintendent and for your hard work, and your administration, our custodians, and our tech team, and all the teams that are involved in making our district run efficiently. So I just want to thank you all, and thank our board members for being here tonight. It's a long evening, but thank you all for what you do, and get home safe. Thank you.
Let me go ahead and grab Mr. Carroll, because I know I'll forget.
I have no comment tonight. Thank everyone for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, exactly. We were sending healing energy for you, Mr. Carroll. Ms. Harris, you want to go?
Sure. Congratulations to Mrs. De Jesus for your SOAR award. Very well recognized, and thank you to Principal Moran and Mr. Pemberton for your speech. Happy Women's History Month, and I love the quote that Dr. McBride had said, and one of my favorite quotes that I use often is, "She believed she could, so she did," right? And I use that in everything, and I also use it when I see the district and how we have our, oh my gosh, is so late. My brain is fried. But our assistant superintendents, 2 females, okay? So we have many female leaders in our district, and that is something to be very proud of. And as a teacher myself, when I look at these women in their roles, it also inspires me to achieve more, right? To keep going higher. I know it's a lot of schooling, but again, she believed she could, so she did. Congratulations to the Hackensack High School cheerleaders for winning their championship. That's amazing. And huge shout out to Natasha also for her report. I wanted to shout out, and I don't think I heard this in anyone's report yet, the 6th grade boys basketball team for winning the Bergen Travel Basketball League tournament. It was a county tournament, and they won. They beat Paramus 74-66, and they are the champions for that tournament. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to their coach, Coach Marquise. Those boys are definitely something to look out for. They are going to be our future. It was a phenomenal, phenomenal season. Also, shout out to our middle school again. I'm loving these reports that I'm seeing also on social media. One of our students made it to the top 10 finalists for our Bergen County Spelling Bee. Phenomenal job. I believe the student placed 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Phenomenal work. I mean, and the word that he misspelled, I mean, it was a pretty intense word, but I don't even think I could even say it. This week, as we all know, tonight is the middle school play. The high school play starts tomorrow. I want to wish all the students, what is it, break a leg?
Yes.
Break a leg. I will be there in attendance to the high school one. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the middle school one, but I will be there tomorrow with my children. Hopefully they behave. And
March 21st, which is tomorrow, is World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. I know that some schools are taking the initiative to wear different colored socks or crazy socks or be an individual, right? It's to raise awareness for people with Down syndrome. Last but not least, I just wanted to say I'm an alumni of Hackensack, graduated class of '03. I'm a parent. I love this district. And one of the biggest things that I take pride in my district is the inclusivity and the diversity. And we cannot forget about that. And that is why all of us are here. And one of the prime examples is also, I love seeing Rochelle Park's representative trustee here. She actually graduated with me. So class of '03, shout out to class of '03. I would also love to see South Hackensack sitting here on the board with us. It's just it's so good to see how your own alumni, your own classmates are coming out and putting children first, that they care so much about the district that they're coming out and participating. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Trustee Harris. Mr. Martin.
Want to first thank and congratulate Ms. De Jesus on a job well done, and thank you for her service to our district. And also, Natasha wanted just let her know what a job she's doing. She's doing a very good job thus far. I could see her going a long way, in society. Just keep up the work, Natasha. Also, I really don't have too much today, but also, oh yes, definitely our supporting team for helping me putting the our board together and doing the great things you keep with the microphones, the IT and everything that you do. We just want to thank you guys for staying late with us and hanging in there. And that's all I have.
Thank you. This has been a very busy month for the trustee board, and we really got to see our kids shine. And they do it every day. Some of us, and everyone takes notice. February 27th, the National Honor Society, E.T. Marlett inducted 31 students, juniors and seniors. February 29th, there was a wonderful program in the morning for Black History Month called African American and the Arts. A lot of us were there, and the kids were just terrific. March 4th, TRIAM, which is the Music Honor Society, and I always wondered what it stood for. It's Modern Music Masters. They inducted 15 people into their honor society. March 7th, we celebrated at the Johnson Public Library Youth Art Month with wonderful exhibits, both music, choral, and the visual arts. Our kids shine. March 19th, a number of us attended and watched our kids perform Moana. And this weekend, as Ms. Harris indicated, I'll be there Saturday night. The high school drama club will be performing Little Shop of Horrors. It's a wonderful play. My daughter, way back when, was in the production here in Hackensack High School. So we have much to be proud of what our kids do in the arts, as well as scholastically, as well as academically, and as well as athletes on the field. So congratulations to our student.
All right. This Pringle?
Yeah, no, I keep it short. So everything my fellow trustees said. Again, Ms. Darby, thank you for the candy. Happy Women's Month, everybody. And yeah, God bless, get home safe.
All right, Miss Somerville?
Hey, everyone, good evening. So first and foremost, to all the females in the district, meaning all the administrator, all the staff, our young girls, happy Women's History Month to all of you. You guys are phenomenal. Hackensack wouldn't be what it is without you guys. You do really good work and you support our kids. And for that, you know, us as parents that have kids that went through the district are forever grateful for that. So ladies, thank you. Keep up the good work. I'd like to say congratulations to, oh my good Lord, his name skipped me, but we had Unsung Hero on the 5th, it was, of March, and we had a student, Samuel Yu from the Hackensack High School that was actually one of our unsung heroes, right? He was nominated and he got an award. And it was a really moving moment. He plays something I have never heard of. It's a cross between like a harmonica, a violin. I have no idea. But he literally learned to play this instrument during COVID, right? It's an odd instrument, not something. And he got so good at it that I think he actually got a scholarship to go off the music school based on this, right? So again, to say that, you know, the kids in Hackensack are phenomenal, and when they have the support and people behind them, parents, teachers, administrators, even during COVID, they can do phenomenal things. So Sam, congratulations. We also had an unsung hero, Michelle Giles, I think is her last name, that came out and sang. She is phenomenal. I mean, we literally had people ask us for unsung hero if she would come to their school to sing. So Michelle, I just want to say thank you. It is appreciated for you, you know, coming out to sing on our behalf. And Dr. McBride, I do have a certificate and a gift for her. When it comes to me in the mail, I will definitely give it to you so Principal Montesano can pass it along to her. Thank you, and Principal Montesano also for showing up for us and showing up for the kids. It is appreciated. Scott, thank you to you, because I don't think Mahana would have been the same without your entire family being in the production. Like, where did you get 75 kids from? I'm just curious.
That's what it feels like.
I mean, I went to the play last night. The play was phenomenal. The kid, my niece was in the play, so she doesn't belong to you. I'll claim that one. But he had like 75 kids. He's like, oh, that's my son. But that's my daughter. The curly haired one is. I'm like, where are they coming from? They pop out of the woodwork. So congratulations to you and Molly. Way to go. So I'm gonna say that to you guys on that one. Congratulations to our sports team. So I do get the TAP report and I see all the wonderful things that our kids are doing. You won't go through them one by one. Cheerleader was mentioned here. But again, the kids in Hackensack do phenomenal. Everybody's coming in the top 3, top 2 scoring big. So Dr. McBride, hopefully moving forward, once there's a structure in place, we'll get a sports update, and get a communication that's all in one place instead of me seeing it tiptoe through TAP. But again, I want to tell you guys, I mean, our kids really do some really good work in sports. And if you guys don't, please subscribe to Hackensack TAP. All of the information for what the kids do pop up in TAP, different times of the day, and you can see all the different achievements going on with them. So that's a really good thing. Miss Story, as always, you're the love of my life with the candy. I definitely appreciate it. And what I'm gonna do is at the next board meeting, I will treat you to my favorite chocolate, right? So we're gonna do a share off here. Like, you can let me know, how's it's going on, but I'll bow down to the queen. Thank you. And last but not least, Dr. McBride. So I know you're coming up on starting your 90 days, right? And you've been here, you've been here officially 60 days. And I just want to say thank you, right? Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for trying to, to right the ship. Thank you for trying to get our kids on the right path. It's not always an easy thing being the outlier. And I know I deal with it at work all day, every day. It's not an easy thing being the outlier. It's not always, a comfortable feeling coming into something new, right? Because a lot of times we're set in our ways. But I remember a really smart person that I was talking to saying that any new job is like a relationship. I'm dating you, you're dating me, right? And we've got to figure out somewhere along the line where, the relationship is going to go, whether or not it's going to work, whether or not it's not going to work, how much of this we're willing to take, how much you're willing to put up with. And I'm hoping this relationship works. You're willing to hang in there. Maybe we do more than date. Maybe we end up marrying, right? You never
HR,
know.
please, HR.
Maybe, so maybe it's a marriage, right? And we can kind of move on from there. I'm not saying we're gonna have kids or anything like that, but it's just a marriage.
I'm so tired.
You've already got 5,000 of us. I don't think you need any more. So I just want to say, honestly, thank you, right? I really appreciate it. It's not always, again, to close out, it's not an easy thing. It's not easy coming in any new, situation, especially because relationships are already codified, right? They're already here. We know what we want, we know what we like, and we always think that something new may not be best for us. But, just like when parents give us vegetables and I said I didn't want it, my mom said, tried it. I'm a fan of broccoli. I actually like it. So maybe here we'll develop a taste for broccoli, right? And we'll all decide that it's something that we like. So again, I'm marrying the Brussels sprout, the broccoli. But again, thank you. We're here. We'll get that kumbaya moment going. The district will eventually wrap itself around you. Just give it a little bit of time, right? Hopefully you're gonna plant your feet here for a little while. So again, thank you very much for choosing Hackensack. Thank you very much for hanging there with us. And hopefully, you'll be here for the next couple of years, okay?
Dr. McBride, don't be surprised if the word on the street tomorrow is.
Yes, I take it. You can take the rumor. It is true. I did propose to Dr. McBride. Tell Mr. Somerville the
Okay.
divorce papers are in the mail.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. Somerville. Ms. Cordero Outen?
Yes, good evening. Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. We heard from 4 teachers this evening, and they were all very similar in the comments that were being made. What I would like to say and take from Dr. McBride is clear is kind, and something that Trustee Somerville has said in the past, which is facts are your friends. If any of the data that you were struggling to put together and spending time on is some of what the board was presented in the past 2 weeks, I would really like to thank you for putting in the time and doing that work, because there were things presented to this board that we'd not seen in the manner in which we'd seen it. A little bit scary, a lot uncomfortable. But I appreciate that you did that work, and I'm sorry if it took you off of your everyday. But I will agree with Dr. McBride that it was very necessary to be done and be done quickly. So thank you for your diligence and your support. Other than that, very proud of our students, always. Very much looking forward to the literacy plan. I'm sure I've said this before. Words are my friends. I am a lover of books. I am a lover of language. I truly believe that everything begins with reading, comprehension, communication. That will then dive into the sciences, the maths. You have a better understanding, and it's so important. And I really appreciate that we are trying to get our children in the right direction. And I want everybody to know that, like, it's not just our kids. It's not just our district. But like I used to tell my kids, I really don't care what other people are doing. I care about what you're doing. And so right now, right here, I only worry about what the school district of Hackensack is doing, how we can continue to move forward and give our students the absolute best. And that all starts with the teachers. And again, thank you for that data. Have a great evening.
Thank you. So I will say, it has been fun doing the middle school play. I love how every time people refer to my children, each individually, the number goes up every time. They've done a phenomenal job. They've put lots of hours and work into it, and it was great to see their end product last night, and then there's another show tonight, and it was really, really good. Dr. McBride got to go up there and join them last night at the end and speak to them, and this is, for me personally, I judge people, I judge people by, especially in the world of education, in the way that when he walked up there, he did not talk to the audience, he talked to the kids. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. To me, that's what we expect. That's the real deal to me. When he didn't care what the audience was really doing, because that's not who his audience is, right? Mr. Stein, I appreciate your list of things that you gave us, of the activities, a reminder of all the things that we have been doing this month. We did have the art show at the library. I would like to say the collaboration with the library is a good partnership. I think it was a beautiful space to be in. It was a big, lovely space that was set up well. There was lovely music played by one of our students, and it was really nice. And I think it brings in our youngest learners to be at the library and introduce them to that space and that gift to our community at an early age. And I will just remind everyone of his list of great things that we in various groups were able to participate in this since our last meeting. I'm thankful for Women's History Month. It's one I personally work for a women's agency. I have for the last more than a decade. Me and my wife both have. It's the justice arm of the part of the group, the larger group that I work for. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. That's Harriet Tubman. And I think about to the strong women that we have in this district, that we have on this board, and I'm appreciative of each one of you. I think of the work that I think back years ago when I first came on, when Ms. Marks was the interim superintendent, and she did a lot of this work with much less internal staff and kept things moving right along. And I think this district will and should be grateful for the work that you did. I think of Ms. Parchment, who has always kept her eye on equity and justice and the curriculum of this district. And I can remember when we had when George Floyd was murdered, and I called her and I was like, we had this great exchange because we knew that something had to be done, and she worked around the clock over the weekend, passing back and forth, trying to work on a resolution to pass and to work. How will we address anti-racism? How will we put our money towards anti-racism work in this district? And that's the type of strong women that we want. We have added a strong woman that I'm looking at in the back in our HR department, and Miss Vonda. We have so many people. Miss Story, she comes up here, and of all of us, she sits here. I mean, she's here. She comes up with her candy and sits here week or month after month through the whole board meeting, and has for years. So thank you for being an example to me as a man, but being an example to all the young boys and girls and those that have yet to decide in our school community. The work you do changes lives. And Dr. McBride, thank you for, oh my gosh, Lydia, hello. That's because I was looking out. I know, hello. You're wearing purple. But I'm sorry. You keep me in line all the time. So, I mean, I talk to her more than anybody in the district. She calls me. I know. You keep our district running, and I say this all the time. He's the face, but she's the one that keeps really the district moving. And without the BA, we're all in trouble. And so thank you for the tireless effort you do. I know this is probably the busiest season for you with getting the budget in and on time. And we have challenges that we've not had in many, many, many years that you are not only doing, you have a smile on your face every time, at least you see me. So it is much appreciated. And I know that I can say two things about you. I can say many things about you, but I'm gonna say two. One is that you always have stressed that your parents have passed down the importance of education. And I've not had one conversation with you that you did not talk about how your work correlates to children. And that's what I want. That's what's important. So thank you. And I apologize. I was just because I was looking at tunnel vision. I'm sorry. And so, Dr. McBride, I will say thank you again in the words of Lance, our former president. Thank you for choosing Hackensack. I think that is important. You are an instructional leader that I think will take us where we need to go. And we are going to trust you to do that. And stay out of your way. So if I could have a motion to adjourn. Motion, okay.
I second.
All those in favor say aye. And we are adjourned.